Peace, my family, and we're back to all those coming out of that good cocoon for the first time. Welcome. This your girl, the butterfly, and we about to take off. Let's fly. Just want to send you all the good healing energy your way. Peace, love, happiness, harmony, and abundance. Hope you guys are out there keeping your mind right in that good mind. How y'all all feeling today? Hope you guys most definitely moving on up in your higher natures and cleansing. Say what? Oh yeah, cleansing the lows. I came on here today to express and share another clip from a master teacher's book called The L's Holy Injiyl, the Book of Revelations. This right here will certainly help you on this good journey with them, and this is a continuation. So, with that being said, let's get started. All right now. So it starts chapter 17, the prostitute, and it goes like this. The prostitute, verse 1. And there came one of the seven messengers, which the seven veils, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come, and I will show unto thee the judgment of the great harlot that sits upon many waters. And one of the seven angelic beings who had with him of the seven veils came and spoke with me, saying, Come, and I will show you the judgment of the great fornicator, who is sitting upon many waters. And there came out of the seven messengers, which the seven veils, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come, and I will show unto thee the judgment of the great harlot, and it sits upon many waters. And there came one of the seven angels, which had the seven veils, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, and I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. And one of the seven Anunnaki Elohim, who was Malachi, who had with him one of the seven veils to pour the wrath of Theos onto the planet Earth, came and spoke to me, John, son of Zebedee, saying, Malachi Zorak speaks. Come here, I will show the judgments of the great harlot, New Babylon, America, called the harlot because she reels in the lifestyle and ways of the inhabitants of its shores, that sits upon the many waters, showing the vast extent of her influence. It is also symbolic of the Statue of Liberty, which is a representation of the harlot who sits on the waters of the Hudson River, or the Hud's River, or the Hud's son. Hud was a descendant of Unifishtim, Noah, by the way of his son Shem. He was sent to the tribe of Ed, who were also descendants of Noah by the way of Shem. The people of Ed were a powerful nation, but they were idol worshippers, and they committed all sorts of wickedness. They, like the inhabitants of New York City, constructed great and tall pillars of stone and built upon them tall edifices to their idols. And in the end, they were destroyed by a powerful, strong, cold wind that blew from 7 straight days and nights throughout the land. Verse 2. And it reads, With whom the kings of the planet Earth had committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the planet Earth have made and have been made drunk with the intoxicants of her fornications. She, whom the kings of the planet Earth committed fornication and became drunk from the intoxicant of her fornicating place, the planet Earth, with whom the kings of the planet Earth have committed fornication, inhabitants of the planet Earth have been made drunk with intoxicants of her fornication, and with whom the kings of earth have committed fornication, and inhabitants of the earth have made and have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Ishtar, star, daughter of Sin, whom the rulers of the planet Earth were presidents, the red and the black Arabs, not the many so-called Arabs who inhabit the Arab countries today, but the Nubian here in the Western Hemisphere, who are the true black Arabs. None of those Indian so-called red Arabs who now rule Saudi Arabia are the real Arabs. They are only East Indians who took over Mecca. The red Arabs call themselves kings, but it is really the black Arabs who are the true rulers of the planet Earth, who committed fornication with the harlot and became drunk from the intoxicant, a poison to the system of her fornicating place, the United States of America, on the planet Earth. Verse 3. So he carried me away in the soul into the wilderness, and I saw a confident wife sitting upon a scarlet-colored beast full of the names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And he advanced me to the wilderness in the soul. So I, Yukinhana, saw a woman sitting upon a beast, colored red, names of blasphemy, and he had 7 heads and 10 horns. And so he created me in the soul into the wilderness, and I, Yukinhana Bar Zebedee, saw a confident wife sitting upon scarlet-colored beasts, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman set upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And he advanced me, John, son of Zebedee, to the wilderness of North America, in the soul traveling in the spiritual form. So I, John, son of Zebedee, saw a confident wife sitting upon the beast in the evil one's empire, headed by the United States of America through the United Nations, colored red, or a robe of the Queen of England, the Mother of America, manipulating and controlling it in the names of blasphemy such as God, Jehovah, Jah, Alat, identity, etc. He, the beast, representatives of the evil one's empire, headed by the United States and the EEC, the common market, had 7 heads, being England, Russia, France, Germany, Spain, Italy, and the United States, and 10 horns, being England, Spain, Germany, Russia, Hungary, Italy, Greece, Turkey, and the United States. Verse 4. These will make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb will conquer them. For he is the Master of masters and King of kings, and they that are with him are called the chosen and faithful. And the woman was cloaked in purple and red, and she hid her face in gold and precious stones and pearls, and she had a gold glass in her hand colored with abomination and incurable diseases from her fornication. These will make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb will conquer them. For he is Master of masters and King of kings. And they that are with him are called the chosen and faithful. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet colored, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abomination and filthiness of her fornication. And the confident wife Babylon the Great, the harlot, the queen arrayed in purple and red color, the colors of a harlot, also the chief color worn by popes and cardinals, and with golden ornaments, with gold and precious stones and pearls, she hides her face, all the evils that she does behind wealth, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and impurities of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written that is secret, the big Babylon, mother of all pornography and abomination of the planet Earth. And a name was written upon her forehead, a secret, Babylon the Great, the mother of all fornication and abomination of the planet Earth. And upon her forehead was a name written that is secret, the big Babylon, mother of all pornography and abominations of the planet Earth. And upon her forehead was the name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, abominations of the earth. And upon her forehead was a name written. This name is pornography. That is a secret because she has distinguished herself as something great. But in fact, or in effect, she is the product of all the evil one's empires which came before her. The big Babylon, mother of all pornography and abominations of the planet Earth. America is the home of all kinds of perversions and lesbianism and homosexuality and incest and bisexuality and rape and bestiality. Verse 6. And I saw the confident wife drunken with the holy ones, and I, Injiyl, saw the woman drunken with the blood of the holy ones, from those who bear witness to the blood of the matriarchs and when I saw her, I wondered with admiration. So I was amazed when I saw the great wonders. And I, Injiyl bar Zebedee, saw the confident wife drunken with the holy ones, and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahshua. And when I saw her, I wondered with admiration. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints, with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And I, John, son of Zebedee, saw the confident wife drunken from the blood of the holy ones, meaning that the harlot has persecuted and killed the righteous, just because they were righteous, and from those who bear witness to the Messiah Jesus. So I, John, son of Zebedee, was amazed when I saw her great wonders. Verse 7. And the angel said to me, Where do you marvel? And I will tell you the mystery of the confident wife and of the beast, and that carried her with, that has the 7 heads and the 7 horns. So I, Malachi, saw to me Why are you so amazed? I will inform you about the woman's secret and the beast who carries it for her, who has the 7 heads and the 10 horns. And Ahimelech saw and said to me, Why do you marvel? And I will tell you the mystery of the confident wife and of the beast that carried her, which has the 7 heads and the 7 horns. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? And I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carried her, which have the 7 heads and the 10 horns. So the Anunnaki Elohim said to me, Why are you so amazed? Question. I will inform you about the confident wife's secret and the beast who carries it for her, who has the 7 heads and the 10 horns. The devil's empire keeps the harlot's secret. And whenever the harlot in the United States commits any kind of atrocity, her camp returns. Look the other way. All the nations of the world protect the United States' reputation as a world power. Verse 8. And the beast that you saw was and is not shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into eternal damnation, and those dwelt on the planet earth shall wonder whose name were not written in the little scroll of life from the foundation of the world. And when they beheld the beast that was and is not and yet is. And as for the beast which you saw, he was and he is not existing now, yet is determined from the bottomless pit, and he will run towards eternal damnation. All who dwelled upon the planet earth will wonder, those whose names are not written in the scroll of the ever-living from the beginning of the world, when they looked at the beast which is done and yet here he is, or is he? Question. The beast that you saw was and is not shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into eternal damnation. And those who dwell upon the planet earth shall wonder whose names were not written in the little scroll of life from the foundation of the world, when they beheld the beast that was and is not and yet is. The beast that thou habest or thou sawest was and is not and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. And they that dwell upon earth shall wonder those names which were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they beheld the beast that was and is not yet is. As for the beast, the United Nations headed by the United States, which you saw, he was old Babylon, and he is not existing now in the time of John, son of Zebedee, yet is determined to come again, and is now here. He will ascend from the bottomless pit on June 6, 1966 AD, to give birth to the mortal sons. This is the year that the evil one and its agents begin to destroy the Nubian race spiritually, mentally, and physically on a large scale. The year 1966 AD, the birth of the child. In the year 1966 AD, the devil, Satan, Lucifer, gave birth to 13 children. His sons were born in every country that he controls: America, Germany, Iran, India, and China, to name a few, all over the world. On June 6, 1966 AD, one of Satan's 13 sons was born in the Western Hemisphere in New York City. You, the Nubian police, did not even know what was going on because they kept everything cloaked under the same type of disguise. The devil has camouflaged these factual events in a series of movies and has told you the truth without you even realize it. He purposely puts everything that he is doing right in front of your face. You are just so far under the spell that you are not able to see. The first movie that is dealt with the birth of his son was Rosemary's Baby, a movie that half of the population in America saw but just looked at it as sheer entertainment. On June 6, 1966 AD, Satan was born in the flesh into Rosemary in New York, in Dakota House. New York is the new capital of America that the European family York established in 1800s AD. From Yorktown, England, New York is the seat for the Statue of Liberty, which is symbolic of the Queen of England. And the Statue of Liberty is a woman coming out the water with 7 horns, holding the torch. The Statue of Liberty was given to America by the Grand Orient of France. It was originally called Liberty, enlightening the world, and it was given as a gift from the French to the American people to honor the 1876 AD centennial celebration. An exterior copper shell in the form of a classical draped female figure carrying a torch was designed 1870 through 75 AD by a French sculptor named Frederick Augustin Bartholdi, and the Masonic Lodge of France gave it to them, and it was made of wood, but it fell, and then it was reconstructed of copper. The statue was unveiled in New York Harbor on October 26, 1886 AD. Now, back to the point. Rosemary of the movie Rosemary's Baby was not a fictitious character. She was a real Emirate. The name Rosemary, Satan's mother, was chosen because it symbolizes the ancestral background of the physical devil, the Emirates. Let's break down the symbolism of the name Rosemary. Rose. The rose is a plant that can symbolize many things. The phrases of its life cycle are comparable to the 4 Babylonian empires. Its beauty represents the glory and the grandeur of each of these empires, its death by their decline and eventual end. Its rebirth every spring represents the rise of a new, even more glorious empire out of the ruins of its predecessors. The thorns of the rose plant represents the pain and the suffering experienced by the countries that have been at the mercy of their rule. The rose is also symbolic of the War of Roses, a war which occurred in a war which occurred not in England but in Europe in the 1800s between 2 families, the Yorks and the Lancasters. These were 2 Emirates cursed seeds. The Lancasters did not want to intermarry with the Yorks. Thus, a family feud occurred, resulting in the Lancasters moving to America to the south. The America, so-called cracker, is the pale man who is the same as the European. The reason why the Emirates are called crackers is because during slavery they used to crack the whips across the slaves' backs. The name Mary represents the paganistic and satanic religion which they uphold, Christianity. Mary was the mother of the Messiah Jesus, but in order for Christianity to falsify the Trinity concept, they used Nimrod, the great Nubian king of Babylon, and his mother, Maramis, or Sai Maramis, who he married. Everywhere, statues appeared of Semiramis holding little Nimrod, and she was accepted as the Queen of Heaven, Ashtaroth. This is the mother and the child idol, Madonna, holding a baby, and her symbol became the moon. Nimrod, her husband and son, became known as Bel, the sun god, and his symbol became the sun. The devil has to set up a coven, a symbol of witches, to exercise his satanic powers, but before the coven can do this, it must consist of 12 members, with 13th members being the devil himself. Coven is a symbol of witches from the mingled English, or coven, or a gathering, a coven. And a convent is a building or buildings occupied by nuns who practice witchcraft. And a coven is an unlawful agreement, 1, 2, 3, a coven, and a covenant, binding agreement making by 2 or more persons or parties, a compact or a pact, as with the devil. And the congregation of a coven exists predominantly in England, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, Salem, or Salem, Massachusetts, Australia, and New England in South America. The Pope, who heads Italy, one of the countries controlled by the beast, the President of the United States, as well as the political leaders of other countries around the world, are all part of the brotherhood of Satan. What they don't want to tell you is that there is a connection between the Bush and the Roosevelt family. All of them are related in some way or another. They refer to themselves as the royal family. It's not common knowledge that the former Vice President Coles is related to George Bush, and not to mention Richard Bruce Cheney, Secretary of Defense. You would never guess the woman they consider the most sexiest woman who ever lived. Yes, late President Kennedy's mistress, Marilyn Monroe, which is also links back to Bush, not to mention Benedict Arnold, who is also, or who is his 4th cousin, and Abraham Lincoln. Bush has a long line of relatives or familiar names, people with a Betty Davis or Winston Churchill and the Roosevelts. This is late President Franklin D. Roosevelt and Teddy Roosevelt. If you keep looking, you'll find out that there are at least 10 other people who have had major roles in the White House that are also related to Bush, whether it be through intermarrying or direct bloodline. There were over 21 United States presidents that were related. This should come as no surprise. They are all intertwined. This is what the Illuminati ones are all about. They intend to keep the ruling power all in the family, the royal family. Why? Because they can keep control of the country and help institute one worldism. If every ruler, or what you call president, feels exactly the same way, you have the relatives of Bush through marriage and Eisenhower family and the Nixon family and Zachary Taylor, James Madison, and James Monroe, and are all a part of this so-called royal clan, whose plan is to promise one worldism. The popes from the Vatican City and the Kennedy family and the Churchill family are only a few of the devil's advocates who hold power around the world. If you would just open your eyes, you would see the baby was born right here in the United States in New York City, the pit of the devil on 72nd Street, in an apartment house that has been around since the later part of the 1800s AD. This house is popular among the occultists, and it's housed witches and warlocks. In the movie Rosemary's Baby, Adrian Marcato was the chief warlock, the devil who gained the most attention. He was born in Glasgow, Scotland in 1849 AD and came sometime after to New York. The singer Roberta Flack has been a resident of the Dakota house for many years. In fact, Donna Hathaway was said to have committed suicide from her apartment window. It is still a question in many minds if he was a sacrifice to Satan. Question. Mercato participated in the Sabbath, one of their rituals, and was one of the chief priests, was conjured up the devil, and he died in 1922 AD. In 1886 AD, his son, Stephen Mercato, was born in New York, and who, not by coincidence, lived in the same apartment house as Rosemary. Later in the story, we find out that Adrian Mercato is the devil, and that Rosemary's baby was named Adrian because it was he who had come from hell and manifested as part man and part beast, begot a son by a mortal woman, Rosemary. The devil knows the name you choose and tells your life story. Thus, the name Adrian was chosen for his son, and he makes it a point to disguise his nature and the reality that he is still an evil being by choosing common names which appear to have no significant meanings. The name Adrian or Aiden is a good example of this. Adrian, which is a masculine given name, and in the royal family, Rome is the seat of the devil, so, or Adriatic Sea, or a Roman family name, which is Rome, which is the seat of the devil. And it goes on to say, and it's the fourth Roman Empire. And it goes on to say, Adrian stems from the word right, which means skillful and clever, especially in the exercise of the mental faculties of an ingenious person. So Adrian means expert, clever, skillful, artful. These are definitely the attributes of Satan, and there are many people who know about this beastly child that was born in 1966 AD. The involvement of the Catholic Church in satanic worship is also dramatized in the film Rosemary's Baby. This is a scene which Adrian Marcato is a warlock, where directing the preparation of Rosemary for the conception of the devil's son, that the visit was for 13 hours and 13 years from 1966 AD to 1979 AD. This year was called the International Year of the Child, not the children, just one child. They made you think that they were concerned with all the children internationally, but really their primary concern was with one child, the child of the devil, and this child was one born in 1966 AD and was just 13 years old in 1979 AD, and 13 is a significant year to a boy because this is the age he reaches what is called a bar mitzvah, or a coming of age ceremony. This child being referred to as, or being referred to in the slogan International Year of the Child, is the devil. And they worship the year he became a man. And they also used the King Tut exploits so that they could bring their people from all over the world to Central Park, with its center at 72nd Street, to worship their boy devil, their Christ, the Antichrist. It is a fact that the Pope Paul VI was in New York at the time of his conception, October 4th, 1965 AD, and the Pope Paul VI visited New York under the disguise of it being a personal visit to appeal for peace in the United Nations. It is no coincidence that in the movie Rosemary's Baby, the night Rosemary was drugged to have intercourse with Satan, she is shown watching the Pope in the television at the celebration mass at Yankee Stadium. During the actual ritual, a pope comes in with a suitcase in his hand and a coat over his arm, and she kisses his ring and forgives her, and then he hurtles out to catch the plane to return to the Vatican City. He also returned on June 6, 1966 AD for the birth of the child. Pope Paul VI was the first pope ever to come to America, and he will run toward eternal damnation since the birth of the child. The 1960s marked a time of great religious explosion as people searched for the truth. Many broke away from the confines of the basic fundamentals of Christianity and Catholicism and explored religions such as Hinduism, Sufism, Egyptology, Transcendental Meditation, Sunni Orthodox Islam, and Scientology, all simply a plot from the evil one and his agents to divert man's attention from the return of the real Messiah. And all who dwell upon the planet Earth, who are caught up in the life of this world, will wonder. Those whose names are not written in the scroll of the ever-living from the beginning of the world, and they marvel at this hell devil since his first appearance on the planet Earth. And when they look at the beast, who is a man, which is done, the world thinks this beast is not real, but he is more real than you could imagine. Yet here he is, or is he, whether you want to accept it or not. The evil one is very much alive and well. He is a man, a human being, planning and executing an hallucination of the seed of Zachar, Adam, and the Nubian man. Question. Verse 9. And there is the mind which haveth wisdom, the 7 heads, and are the 7 mountains which the confident wife sitteth. So here it is for those who can understand it with wisdom. The 7 heads are, and the 7 mountains, and on them the woman was sitting, and they are 7 rulers. And here is the mind which have wisdom. The 7 heads are the 7 mountains which the confident wife sitteth. And there is the mind which have wisdom, 7 heads and 7 mountains of which the woman sitteth. So here it is for those who can understand it with wisdom, the 7 heads and the 7 mountains, and on them the confident wife is sitting, because she is really the head as a beast, and she is the master, and they are 7 rulers. Verse 10. In the translation from the Asoretic Arabic, the original Aramic, the phrase "they are 7 rulers appears in verse 9, but in the English translation, if you count it, it appears in verse 10. Originally, the scriptures were revealed without chapter or verse indications. This was an added novation by men. And there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not come yet. And when he comes, his death will continue for a short space. The 5 of them have fallen, and 1 of them can be found, and the other has not yet come. And when he comes into the sight, his rule will be short. And there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not come yet. And when he comes, his death will continue for a short space. And there are 7 kings, and 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And 5 of them have fallen, and these 5 being the first Babylon Empire that was ruled by Nimrod, son of Cush, and the second Babylon Empire that was ruled by Hammurabi, the sixth ruler in the first dynasty. So Hammurabi is the 6th ruler in the first dynasty, and then the Greek Empire that was ruled by Alexander the Great, and the Seleucid, and the Ptolemaic empires founded by Ptolemy or Zotar and Seleucus and Nicator, and the Roman Empire, the imperial rule, or the imperial Rome, which was ruled by Julius Caesar, and 1 who can be found, which is the Roman Empire that existed during John's, son of Zebedee, time, and the other one has not yet come, meaning the New Babylon America did not exist during John's, son of Zebedee's time, and when he comes into sight, his rule will be short. From 1966 AD, when the malevolent being rose from the pit, to the year 1999 AD, when the 6 aligned, as it will on June 6, 1999 AD, which is just a short span of 33, or 3 plus 3 equals 6 years. And verse 11, and when the beast that was and is not even, he is the 8th of the 7th, and goes toward eternal damnation. And the beast which was is, so he is the 8th that is to come, and out of the 7th he will go towards eternal damnation. And the beast that was and is not even, he is the 8th of the 7th, and goes toward eternal damnation. And the beast that was and is not even, he is the 8th and is of the 7th, and goeth into perdition. And the beast which was and is not now, meaning the Babylon Empire existed before, cannot be found during John's, son of Zebedee's time. So he is the 8th. The 6th was the European Empire, and the 7th in the New Babylon Empire, America, and the 8th was the state of Israel that is to come out of the 7th. Out of the 7th will come the state of Israel, and it is America who helped Israel become what it is today. So the state of Israel is an evil killer, just like the United States. And the United States took the responsibility of assisting the state of Israel with the military defense, and also showing them how to use their firearms. Thus, it acts with all the authority of the United States, because the United States backs them. The state of Israel is also much a product of the United States, as the United States was a product of all the empires that come before it, and he will go towards eternal damnation. Together, the United States and Israel will bring about the end of the world. Verse 12. And the 10 horns which you saw are the 10 kings who have not received kingdoms as yet, but received power as kings for 1 hour with the beast. And the 10 horns which you saw are the 10 kings which have take no kingdom yet. However, they will get authority like kings for 1 hour after the beast. And the 10 horns which you saw are 10 kings who have not received kings, or have not received kingdoms as yet, but received power as kings for 1 hour with the beast. And the 10 horns who have solved their 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet, but received power as kings 1 hour with the beast. And the 10 horns which you, John, son of Zebedee, saw are 10 rulers in power which have taken no kingdom yet. And John, son of Zebedee, these nations are not major rulers or major ruling powers. However, they will get authority like rulers for 1 hour after the beast. And these nations will be given kingdoms to rule in the name of the devil. And they will put the pentagram on their flags and benefit from their association with the evil ones, call it America. And they will rule with one mind or purpose to make war with the Lamb and to destroy his followers and the truth. Unlike the previous empires which have already expired, these nations will enjoy the power all at once, this for 1 hour which the harlot rules. But when the harlot falls, she will take every one of his nations with her. So it goes on. Verse 13. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These are all one force, and they will push behind the beast and give it its strength and its authority. And these have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. And these have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. And these are the one force united. They stand invisible as the United Nations, and they will push behind the beast because they are the United States allies. And they make the United States feel powerful because of their association and give it its strength and its authority. Verse 14. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb will overcome them. And the Lamb will overcome them, for he is master of masters. One moment. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb will overcome them. For he is the master of masters, and the ruler of rulers. And they that are with him are called the chosen and faithful. These will want to kill the Lamb, and the Lamb will overcome them, because he is the Rabbi, the master of rabbis, and the ruler of rulers, those who are with him, and they are called. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb will overcome them, for he is master of masters and the ruler of rulers. And they that are with him are called the chosen and faithful. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords and the King of kings. And they that are with him are called chosen and faithful. These will want to kill the Lamb. These devils will be put out to squash the real teachings of Islam in its pristine purity. Through the media, the evil one paints an ugly picture of Islam to make people think that they are humane and murderers, when in actuality the evil is the one who causes chaos, wars, pestilence, and famines. Every day, articles appear in the newspapers and reports are given on televisions and news broadcasts to try to make all Muslims look bad. And the Lamb, the Messiah Jesus, will overcome them and be successful in the end, because he is the master of masters and the rulers of rulers, and those who are with him, they are called cheaters, yet faithful. These are those that follow the Lamb wherever he may go. They will have their bad ways, but will remain faithful. They will stay true aiders of Allah, Eli, through the aiders of Allah, are not the same as 144,000 pure souls. Meaning, they may have once lived in her lap of luxuries, living deliciously in her ways, yet they are the ones, they are the only ones who in the last days will be faithful to the Most High. Eli, Anu, Allah, El Elo, Dios. The aiders of Allah are the ones who have once lived in the lifestyle of the evil one, but who have once lived in the lifestyle of the evil one, but have been taught the truth about themselves and are ready to regain the godlike quality that they were born with. They have willingly given themselves from falling from being to supreme being to human being to human to man to mortal to mammal to sacrificing in the way of Dios, so that the 144,000 may be rise. Verse 15. And he said unto me, the waters which you saw, which the harlot sits on, are tribes and Gentile nations and tongues. And he said unto me, the waters which you have seen, where the fornicator is sitting, they are kindred and nations or tongues. And he said unto me that the waters which you saw where the harlot sits are tribes and Gentile nations and tongues. And he saved unto me the waters which thou saved, which the whore sitteth, the peoples and the multitudes of nations and tongues. And he, the Anunnaki Elohim, said to me, John, son of Zebedee, the waters which you have seen where the fornicators and the harlot in the New Babylon, United States, is sitting. They are kindred and nations and tongues, and they are many nationalists within the shores of the United States of America. Verse 16. And the 10 horns which you saw upon the head of the beast will hate the harlot and eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And the 10 horns which you saw in the beast, these will turn and hate the fornicator, and they will start to war and strike her until she is naked, and they will eat flesh and burn her in the fire. And the 10 horns which you saw in the beast, these will turn and hate the fornicator, and they will start to war and strike her until she is naked, and they will eat flesh and burn her in the fire. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And the 10 horns which you saw in the beast, these same names that loved her will turn and hate her. What once was a great romance has turned cold, and the fornicator, and they will start to war and strike. It's their star, the harlot, the fornicator, until she is naked, making the whole world see her for what she really is, and they will eat her flesh and burn her in fire. For the first time ever in a world war will be fought on America's soil. Nations of the world will fight a fierce war against her, bringing the destruction never felt in the shores of the United States. America inhabitants have never experienced the degradation and loss of the war as European nations have felt. It's being tugged off on the other side of the globe as protected itself from attack, but now the very countries it has assisted financially and materially, militarily and artillery by which to wage an all-out war with the United States. Verse 17. For Theos has out in the hearts to fulfill this will, and Theos has out in the hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom into the beast until the words of Theos shall be fulfilled. Because Allah has made their hearts to become a disease, this is going to give their kingdom to the beast until the words of Allah are finished. For Yahweh has out in the hearts fulfilled his will, and to agree and to give their kingdom into the beast until the words of Yahweh of the Elohim shall be fulfilled. And for God have put in their hearts to fulfill this will, and to agree and give their kingdom into the beast until the words of God shall be fulfilled. Because Theos has made in their hearts to become a disease, making the nations give themselves into the evil reptilian that is going to give their kingdom to the beast. But now it is talking about the three entity of the evil reptilian triangle, the triad, the Jews, the Irish, and the Italians, and the state of Israel headed by the Jew. Just like how the United States gives power to those who do his bidding, power will now be given into the state of Israel until the words of Theos are finished. And all of this will happen until the teachings of Theos are taught throughout the earth. This includes the revealing of the true meaning of the scriptures of Theos. This will be preached throughout the earth before the beast finally begins, or before the beast finally brings on its own destruction. Verse 18. And the confident wife which you saw is the great city that rules over the kings of the planet Earth. And the woman which you saw is the great city which rules over the kings of the planet Earth. And the confident wife which is what you saw, the great city that rules over the earths, rules over the kings of the earth. And the woman which you have saw is the great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. And the confident wife which you saw is the great city in the harlot, the new Babylon, the United States, which rules over the rulers of the planet Earth, the true red and black Arabs. Alright now, so that right there is the end of that chapter. I'm going to leave it at that for now. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer. Also, we'll be posting this for people that want to go through that good journey within and do a read on their own and a deep study, which is something that is so much encouraged for you to read on your own. Now, again, I hope you guys know that you are loved beyond this world. I hope you know. Begin to spread the love one to another. Be the peace that you seek. Release our master teacher, Dr. Malachi Injiyl. Peace, shalom, hashug, divine love, and wadu, and it's all love.